Good, everybody now. Let's come to a comfortable seat. And from your seat, take that time to make yourself tall through the spine, shift with your sitting bones and find that comfort of being able to connect your sitting bones with whatever you're sitting on. And then as you rest your hands down, use a little gentle press to help you lengthen your sides. Draw your shoulders up and back. Lengthen the back of your neck. And as you let your eyes close, start to tune into how your breath is moving. These first initial breaths being used to simply sense, not trying to shift or change, but just be present with how your breath is moving. Then begin to add some detail to your breath, adding a count of 3 or 4, maybe 5 on the inhale, whatever is natural. And then 4, 5, 6, whatever's natural on the exhale for you, allowing the exhale to be just a little bit longer. Inhaling to that natural count, exhaling, allowing your exhale to be just that little bit longer. As you take these first few counted breaths, notice that you can add a little bit more each time you exhale. Notice that you can slow your exhale. And as you do so, as you slow your exhale, you're also allowing yourself to calm and settle your nervous system. Even if it was already calm, it's allowing it to settle a little bit more. Let's take 3 more breaths here, adding that little extra length on each exhale. Then release this counting of your breath. Simply take a couple of natural breaths and notice whatever shift has already taken place. Connecting hands together at heart center. Take a deep inhale and sit just a little taller. Exhale, bow toward your heart, honoring yourself for being here, present on your mat. Then softly opening your eyes and releasing your hands down, keeping your chin tucked down here. Draw shoulders up and back, and then take those few shakes of your head no and love, starting to wake up through the back of the neck, sides of the neck, upper back and shoulders. Then inhale, sit tall and lift your chin up toward the ceiling. Keep your shoulders moving up and back and take that half circle, chin dropping to one shoulder, up and over to the other shoulder a few times. Again, checking out sides of neck, back of neck, and now front of your neck. It's a little bit of gentle movement through some of those neck muscles that get super tight as we maybe have to look at a screen or do something that takes a lot of concentration. And now come back into center, and we'll reach our arms straight ahead of us and palms are facing each other, and then start to rotate so that you're turning your palms a little bit upward. You don't have to turn them all the way upward, but the whole point is to be able to rotate upper arm bones. So your elbow pits are turning up, draw shoulder blades onto your back, and then inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Keeping elbow pits trying to turn toward the wall behind you. As you exhale, bring your arms back down to level with your shoulders. Again, plug in with your shoulder blades. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, arms back down to shoulder height. We're going to take 3 more this way. And keep your head lifted to the back plane of your body. It wants to dip down sometimes, especially if your neck and your shoulders are feeling particularly tight. Then relax your arms down, give your shoulders a little roll back. Little ear to shoulder action as you roll through your shoulders. And now as you come back up to a tall spine, reach your arms out to the side, palms are facing out. So you're trying to turn your palms and find that external arm bone rotation for yourself. Shoulder blades engaged. Keep shoulder blades engaged, that external arm bone rotation as you inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side again. Again, find that rotation. It's like you're trying to turn your elbow pits back. Inhale, arms overhead, shoulder blades are plugged in. Exhale, hands come to your heart. We have 3 more this way. Find that rotation. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to your heart. Inhale and exhale. Full deep inhale. Long, full exhale. 1 more. Full deep breath. Now with hands pressing at your heart, lift your elbows up to shoulder height. So you have pretty much straight across with your forearms. As you push your palms together, put your shoulder blades onto your back, lengthen up through the back of your neck, and now start to rotate with your hands, keeping your palms pressing the whole time, keeping your shoulder blades engaged onto your back. And as you rotate, forward and down and then back up. Just notice whatever shows up for you. Sometimes this is a good warm up through the wrists, sometimes through the forearms, sometimes through the shoulders. And then give your arms a shake. Let's switch the cross of our legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for ourselves. Shifting your sitting bones. This time, hands back to back. And with your hands back to back, you're going to bring elbows again to about shoulder height. Draw shoulder blades onto your back, lengthen the back of your neck. And then we're going to rotate again, only this time it's that downward motion and towards your heart. And again, this is a good stretch and warm up through wrists, forearms, and sometimes all the way up into your shoulders. I know for me, one side, it's a little bicep warm up. And then release your hands, give them a shake. And now reach your arms out long to the side and bring your fingertips together so that you're pinching them. I like to call this a dinosaur head. And when I'm coaching kids, say make your dinosaur heads. So now lift up with your dinosaur heads. And then down with your dinosaur heads. And then lift up and down. And as you do this, you're keeping arms lifted to shoulder height. Keeping your head lifted to the back plane of your body. Good. Now plug in with your shoulder blades. And now down with your dinosaur heads, and then you're going to tip your heads back and forth. As you do so, keep your shoulder blades engaged onto your back. Good. Okay, and relax your arms. Give your shoulders a little roll back. And now hands in front to clasp, pull forward with your arms and round back through your spine, your chin tucks in. And then add that movement here through your back body, through your shoulders, getting a little longer stretch through your lats. And now back into center, let's shift forward onto hands and knees just for a moment. And from hands and knees, as you set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, find wrist creases parallel to the front of your mat. Plug in with your palms and fingertips into the ground, and then rotate elbow pits forward and push. Keep that expansion into your back body as you tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose, and then bend one knee at a time. And as you bend one knee at a time, you're giving your calves and the backs of your legs a little bit of a stretch. And now you can stay in down dog, or you're always welcome to come to your knees for this. We're gonna lift our right leg to the sky, hips stay level to begin with, bend your knee and push your heel toward the ceiling. Rotate your outer left hip back, and then begin to turn up with your right thigh. Turning up with your right hip, opening up a little bit here through your hips, but also even more so reaching through your right thigh. Keep your left hip rotating back so you're having that leveling off action, even through your shoulders. On your exhale, set your right foot back down. Inhale, lift your left leg, and again, level off with your hips. Bend your knee, pushing your heel upward, send your right hip back. Then begin to open up with your left hip. Keep your shoulders steady. Keep your right hip pressing back, even as you lift your left hip, and even more so reach through your thigh. Then set both feet on the ground and rise up tall to tiptoes, lift your sitting bones. On your exhale, lower back down through your heels. Inhale, lengthen, lift up to tiptoes. And exhale, lower heels toward the ground. One more time, inhale, lift up. And exhale. Knees down, hips to heels, take a child's pose. And from this place, if you'd like to, you can bend your elbows, hands connecting in prayer position. Behind your head or neck, take a couple big breaths. Then releasing your hands down, rising to your hands and knees. And from here, you have your choice. We're going to step forward into forward fold. So you can either lift your hips up and back to down dog to step forward, or step forward from hands and knees, your choice. From this place, feet inner hip distance or wider. As you lift and spread your toes and then root them down, push into the ground, not just with your toes, but with your heels too. Inhale and lengthen part way. Bring your hands up above your knees and send your sitting bones up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. One more this way. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Hands to hips. Push hips back. Lift shoulders up first, your head up first, and rise. And now coming up to stand, we're going to turn sideways on our mats and take a wide stance. And from this place, first look at the outside edges of your feet and bring your pinky toe edges to parallel. And then reach your arms and make feet approximately the distance of wrists. Approximately, really does vary. Hands to your hips now, a little bend to your knees. As you lift up with your heart, expand and open through your front. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Coming into this wide leg fold here, you're welcome to have blocks as a little bit of support. And then we're going to do a little bending of one knee at a time. And as we bend one knee at a time, you get to notice how the backs of our legs are feeling, how hips and low back are feeling. And the other aspect of this here is notice how easy it is for you to be hinged from the hips. If you're super tight from some activity over the weekend, that might be a little bit harder. If that's the case, then maybe you're up a little higher with your hands. And then back into center now, hands up to your hips. Push sitting bones up, extend your heart forward and rise. And now turn right foot out, bend into your right knee, and then adjust your stance if you need to. Make it wider, more narrow, to find that straight up and down stacking of your front shin. Reach your arms, warrior two. Open your knee up. Think of that wrapping action of your right glute to help. Big deep breath. As you reach further through fingertips, plug in with shoulder blades. Hands to hips. Work your right leg towards straight. Turn your feet parallel and turn your left foot out. Bend into your left knee and again, open it up all the way from your glute. Reach your arms. Warrior two, second side, take a full breath. Reach further, plug in. Hands to hips, work your front leg or your left leg towards straight. Turn your feet parallel and turn your right foot out again. Bend into your right knee. Again, find that stacked place straight up and down. And now you have your choice. You can always have elbow at your knee, or you can have right hand at a block or the floor on the inside or the outside of your knee. Big thing to notice here is if you bring your hand to the ground, if your hips lift to make that happen, then maybe bring your hand up a little higher. So take a big deep breath. Open your right leg up. If your hand is behind, then your leg can actually bump right against your arm. Turn your belly and your heart more open, and maybe stretch your left arm over your ear. Big breath. Top hand to your hip. Push through your feet and rise all the way back up. Turn your feet parallel. Turn your left foot out. Bend into your left knee. And again, you can always use a block or the floor or your thigh. But set left elbow down or left hand down. Find that bend to your knee where your shin is stacked on your left leg. And open it up. Even as you turn your belly and your heart more open. And maybe stretch. Top arm over your ear. Big breath. Top hand back to your hip. Push through your feet to rise all the way back up. And then work your feet parallel. Right foot turns out. This time your right knee stays straight. You're wrapping your glute down under so your knee turns more toward your pinky toe edge. Shift your hips back, creating that hip crease in your right side. Send your heart forward and then hand down to your thigh, your block, the floor. Depending on where you can stay the most open, the most expanded, take a big deep breath. Shoulder blades on your back. Take a full breath as you reach through your top arm if you're reaching up, but especially push through your bottom hand wherever it is. If that means that you're pushing so that your knee pushes back, then resist that and make sure you keep a micro bend. Take a big deep breath. Root through your feet and inhale, rise all the way back up. Feet become parallel. Turn your left foot out. Turn your knee toward the left side. Create the hip crease as you shift your hips back. Extend your heart and then take your hand down to wherever it needs to be. Block, thigh, or floor. When you put your hand on your shin, it tends to then turn more open, and notice when you turn more open, your knee tends to turn too. So keep opening it up. Keep that knee safety happening. Maybe stretch up. Full breath. Inhale, push into the floor to rise all the way back up. Turn your feet parallel, and now hands at your hips. Lift your heart. As you exhale, hinge from the hips. Knees are a little bent here as you fold over your legs in this wide stance fold. Take a big full breath. And again, feel free to put elbows or hands on a prop. Feel free to take the depth of this pose that feels the best in your body. 2 more deep breaths. hands to hips. Lift up and open through the shoulders. Squeeze your glutes and inhale, rise. And then walk your feet in and come back to the front of your mat. And from the front of your mat, take feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root them down. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips, pull over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant hands, step back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full breath. Bend your knees and tilt sitting bones up. Rotate elbow pits forward, and from lats, push out through your hands. Inhale, come forward into your plank. Maybe knees come to the ground here, but keep rotating forward with your elbow pits and pushing. Extend through your front. Exhale, lower all the way down. Pause and set your legs up. So you're pressing tops of feet and knees down. Engage your low belly and your low ribs. Helps to take an exhale. Inhale, curl up and open as high as your body needs to go. That might be staying low. That might be lifting up high, but stay broad and open through your front. Exhale, child's pose. Take a moment to move a little bit through your hips. And now we're going to take one last pose before we shift into floor-based poses. So if you'd like to, you can add a blanket underneath your knees. We're going to take our thigh stretch from our hands and knees. So as you take a hands and knees position, set your hands up really well, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. And now you're going to turn your left leg, you're rotating on your knee, turning your toes off to the side. And then you're going to balance onto your left hand facing the right side. From this place, if it's in your practice, you're picking your right leg up, tone your low belly, tone your low ribs, bend your right knee, and if you'd like to, you can reach back for your foot, or you can just stretch back through your knee, through your thigh. I'll turn sideways so you can see that option. So you might just be reaching. You might be reaching back and holding your foot. Take a big, deep breath here. And again, engage low belly, low ribs, and extend your chest further. Keep your head in line with your spine. Take another full, big breath. Strong push of your bottom hand. And exhale, release your foot if you're holding it. Come back to your hands and knees. Pause and take a full breath in a cat and cow. Inhale, belly toward the ground. Exhale, round your spine upward. Take one more big breath this way. Then back to a neutral place. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. And then turn your right leg so your toes are off your mat. Find your balance on your right hand, your right knee, turning to the left side. And again, if you would like to, you can pick your left leg up, tone your belly, tone your low ribs, and bend your knee. From that place, if it feels good, you can reach back for your foot or just reach through your thigh. You do not have to hold your foot here for a thigh stretch. Full, big, deep breath. Strong press of your bottom hand. Put both shoulder blades on your back. If you're holding your foot, release it gently and settle back to hands and knees. One more child's pose, settle hips to heels. Deep, full breath here. And again, feel free to take whatever variation feels the best to you. If you'd like a little extra shoulder stretch, then maybe use some props underneath your elbows or your hands. Then gently push yourself up to your seat, coming all the way down to sitting bones. And now we're going to take a forward fold that's a little bit different than what we usually do. So we're going to take our right leg extended out in front of us. If it's in your practice, you're taking your left leg back behind you, bending your knee, your thigh, not your thigh, but your calf is out to the side. And if that's too much on the knee, then you can take your foot into the side of your leg instead, okay? So your decision here, what feels the best in your body, but engage both feet. So one of the key things here with your knee back behind you in this half hero's pose is to keep your toes pushing down into the ground and your ankle active. Move your sitting bones, press into the floor with your fingertips, lift your chest. And as you exhale, you're hinging and folding over your right leg as far as your body needs to go. And that might mean just staying upright, because it might be a lot. So take a big deep breath wherever that is. Feet stay engaged. Use your breath to help you extend longer through your spine. And now inhale, gently bring yourself back upright. And now we're going to go the other way. So you get to notice what feels the best in your body. I think I'll turn sideways again so that you can see here. So this is again our half hero's pose, our half virasana. Big thigh stretch, but it needs to be safe on the knee. So engage the toes, ankle is active. And then as you work your way the other way, maybe you come down toward elbows. Maybe you come down all the way to your back. My thighs are too tired from the weekend for that. So I'm going to stay right here. You go to where your body is saying, okay, that's good. Take a big deep breath. If you're back on your elbows, push with your elbows and expand through your chest. Keep your head and neck in line with your spine, as opposed to dropping back. If anything, keep your chin tucked in a little bit. Then gently work your way back upright. Gently bring both legs out in front of you. Take a couple big breaths in your staff pose, which is fingertips or palms beside your hips, sitting tall. Then your left leg bends back if that's in your practice. Remember, you can always take your foot into the side of your leg. Engage your toes. As you do so, notice if your ankle is falling outward and think of pushing down with your pinky toe edge and pulling your ankle in. Lift your ribs, your chest, your heart, and then as you exhale, hinge and fold as deeply as your body needs. Find that place for yourself here that is right for what's going on in your body today. Toes pull back toward your nose. Deep breath. Inhale, rise back up. And now same thing, we're going to go backwards. So notice the stability of your right leg. Make it strong. Push the toes into the floor. Ankle is active. And then maybe work your hands back. Maybe you stay up on your hands. Maybe you work down toward elbows. Maybe all the way to your back. That might be in your practice today. But knee safety is key. Low back safety is key. So find where that is for you. Big breath. Again, if you have your hands or your elbows on the ground behind you, push down and expand your heart. Then gently rise all the way back up. And both legs come out in front for a moment and just give your legs a little shake. And then bend your knees and lay all the way down onto your back. Knees hug in. Just a quick rock side to side. And then set footprints on the ground and begin to set yourself up into a really comfortable rest. So feel free to keep knees bent and touching, or prop your legs up, or extend your legs all the way out. Whatever your body needs to find a good rest for a few moments in time. begin to take a deeper breath. And find gentle movement through fingers and toes. And slowly bend your knees, roll over to one side, take a full breath. And gently push yourself back up to your seat. And with hands coming together at heart center, eyes closed, take a moment to notice your breath. And notice the general feeling inside. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.